With the impending Snow White 2025 revamp starring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, the Walt Disney Company is in hot trouble. This film has sparked more than just internal Disney conflict. The public's perception of the corporation has been totally upended. People are furious, both fans and critics, and Disney has been rushing to repair the damage. But let's face it, it's completely failing. Iger, Bob, yes, some even give him a call. Bob Iger is in the middle of this mess, for the sake of investors and the general public. The man frequently sugarcoats everything. He consistently engages in the same game after we have it under control. It will be different next quarter. However, nothing changes behind the scenes. There is no actual action, just words. This is where things become even more complicated. Bob Iger is reportedly in serious jeopardy and isn't just coping with fan outrage anymore. We are discussing investigations at the federal level. Now that the FCC is formally investigating what is happening at Disney, Bob Iger is involved. It all relates to Disney's contentious day decisions made while creating Snow White. There are claims that Disney may have gone too far in breaking federal laws related to day activities. It's more than just a scandal. That is a nightmare for the law. Iger is in a very difficult position as CEO. Everything rests on his shoulders. As a result of all the criticism surrounding Rachel Zegler's casting and the way Snow White was handled, the board, executives, and creatives behind Snow White and other Disney projects are currently freaking out because they know this isn't just about one movie anymore. It's about the entire direction Disney has been going in. The big twist is that the FCC isn't just reviewing Disney. They are focusing on Bob Iger specifically for possibly violating DEI regulations related to this movie. Now that this storm is intensifying and threatening to bring other Disney projects into the spotlight. HD as well, Bob Iger and the Disney board just had a contentious emergency meeting after learning that the FCC is not only looking into the company but also directly at him. The conversation wasn't calm either, according to insiders, who say the room quickly became tense when they discovered that the feds were looking into Iger's role in Disney's DEI practices across the company as well as in well-known brands like Marvel and Star Wars. Everything stems from the Snow White catastrophe. That film started a fire that is still going strong. People were already furious about Rachel Zegler. But when Disney substituted computer-generated imagery for the famous dwarfs, things became more serious. The fans didn't like it. That one choice sparked a barrage of criticism, and now the entire thing is getting out of control. According to reports, Iger is in full-blown panic mode. And can you hold him accountable? This probe has the potential to destroy Disney's reputation and, worse, the legacy he has worked so hard to build over the years. In all honesty, though, all of that work has been falling apart. Despite all of this criticism, Bob Iger continues to maintain that they done nothing wrong. Yes, he adhered to his story like glue during that heated boardroom confrontation. But here's the twist. Disney is currently in a difficult situation after the FCC threatened to impose significant fines if they discovered infractions in their day rulings for both films and television. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, their top 3 shareholders, all firmly believe in DEI. That is the primary reason they have continued to invest in Disney. But if these titans withdraw, Disney's future is doomed. The board is now turning on Iger because of this. They won't let him ride this out until 2028 as he had hoped. They desire his departure as soon as possible. There is a movement to choose a new CEO who will sustain Day while doing it more subtly in the films, merchandise, and other materials. And the FCC, well, they're only beginning. There are rumors that this inquiry will soon become very large. Here's the twist, then. The FCC first believed that Disney had done nothing wrong, but now that they are delving much deeper into the Snow White scandal, things are beginning to heat up once more. Let us take a moment to discuss Bob Iger. He keeps saying that Snow White had nothing to do with Day while he is out here acting as though everything is good and he is unaware of the storm that is brewing directly in front of him. No ideology, no agenda, just another movie, right? But who's buying that? A number of gifted performers would have thrilled at the chance to play the 7 dwarves. But Disney rejected them and chose to use entirely computer-generated imagery. Instead, That decision alone sent shockwaves through the industry. Here's the real deal. That decision was made during the second round of reshoots, which was just before the third. The CGI dwarf characters were completely changed and reworked during that second round, which infuriated many Hollywood people, particularly actors from the dwarfism community who saw a unique opportunity for genuine representation dismissed. These weren't your typical roles. These may have been significant scenes for real actors, but computer models took their place. Let's face it, that offended a lot of people. However, given how badly the movie is developing, those actors might have escaped a serious injury by avoiding being associated with this catastrophe, particularly with Rachel Zegler at the center of all the controversy. Therefore, let's face it, Disney still made a huge mistake, even though it might have been a blessing in disguise for those actors, since things are only getting worse. Let's move on. Not voluntarily, Bob Iger abruptly put a stop to the live-action Tangled adaptation. Essentially, the board coerced him after the FCC began their probe. Why? Because it was rumored that the Tangled reboot intended to change out all of the primary characters. Given that he is personally involved in this FCC examination, the board instructed Iger to put everything on hold until the controversy on it subsides. The entire situation is putting more strain on Disney and escalating tensions between Rachel Zegler and the executives. The Snow White backlash is no longer the only issue they are facing. It is now escalating into a tempest of legal issues and negative press. And guess what? The Gina Carano lawsuit has returned to the public eye. She has been pursuing legal victories recently and is pursuing Disney for dismissing her from Lucasfilm in 2021, directly under Kathleen Kennedy's supervision. Let's break it down. Bob Iger is juggling three major nightmares in 2025. And he is now going to be pulled into that courtroom drama as well. The FCC probe and the Snow White consequences. The Tangled forced pause, overheating day. The Gina Carano case is exploding once more. Everything collapsing in a single month. April. Not only is this awful, but it might be catastrophic for Iger's career and Disney's reputation. And as everything is going in a spiraling direction, the crucial question at hand is, where can they go from here? Snow White is utterly stalled, barely making it past $169 million globally, and that sum hasn't changed in weeks. It is being dropped in theaters all around the nation. Here's the really bad part. They are being told to pull it by Disney. Yes, you did read correctly. Disney is essentially attempting to remove it from the map at this time, and the reason for this is that the Minecraft movie completely destroyed it. That movie is stealing Snow White's thunder and controlling the box office. It isn't even a contest. Snow White was entirely forgotten about. Let's face it, though, this failure was all but inevitable. From the beginning, it never had a genuine chance. However, the speed at which it fell apart still shocked Disney's executives. They were compelled to come to a hard stop, particularly after realizing how awful the numbers appeared. Not only is the movie's performance sluggish, it's essentially motionless. Disney is currently frantically revising their whole live-action remake plan behind the scenes. Executives are questioning every decision they make in light of the Snow White meltdown. According to some insiders, upcoming blockbusters like Hercules and Princess and the Frog are currently being reassessed for any day-related material that could cause further trouble. Before these films are even captured on camera, they are essentially undertaking damage control. But here's the crazy part. A few board members are advocating for Disney to subtly distance itself from anything that appears overly obvious. They are still attempting to spread their message, but they are doing so in a more nuanced manner. Bob Iger is walking a tightrope, and it seems like they are attempting to maintain the same course without all the fuss. Every decision he makes today is scrutinized, and one mistake may lead to even greater catastrophe. He has shareholders breathing down his neck, creatives losing faith, and a public losing interest. Rachel Zegler's involvement, meanwhile, continues to fuel the flames. Her previous remarks, which supporters say come across as contemptuous and even disrespectful of the original Snow White, haven't exactly helped to diffuse the situation inside the studio. Personnel and creatives are fuming. Leaks are coming. out like crazy, and some are dubbing her casting one of Disney's worst PR decisions in years. With frequent rewrites, reshoots, and last-minute alterations forced by executives attempting to strike a compromise between day ambitions and traditional fairy tale expectations. People claim that the Snow White production was a nightmare from the start, and the end product is a film that nobody enjoys. The CGI dwarf decision has been criticized by non-participating actors as a slap in the face to actors who were never given a chance. The entire circumstance has become a cultural hotspot, and Disney is struggling to control the narrative. And today, Disney is facing more than just admirers and detractors. Word has it that other studios are also closely monitoring the situation in case they need to step in and cover the void. Disney's departure. Another giant quickly approaches when the first one falters, and Disney is currently appearing to be easy prey, according to some insiders. Apple, Amazon, and Netflix are discreetly talking with top talent who are fed up with the mayhem at Disney. Directors, writers, and even FX teams are looking for new residences. This is awful news for Disney since it means the end of the game for upcoming hits once that talent pipeline closes. In addition to losing money at this point, the corporation is also losing customers, and Bob Iger is stuck attempting to helm a ship that is leaking from all sides. The question of whether Disney would reform is no longer relevant, as the FCC is putting pressure on him and shareholders are calling for his resignation. It concerns whether it will be able to withstand the changes at all. This is where things get even more crazy. According to several people familiar with the matter, Bob Iger is already in negotiations to resign quietly before matters worsen. Yes, he might not live to see the end of 2025 as he had hoped. With numerous initiatives failing and legal issues mounting, the board's pressure is so great that it appears more like a forced departure than a dignified retirement. Disney is reportedly already looking for replacements. Some outsiders with impeccable reputations and a few former executives are among the names being floated. They are looking for someone who can reassure investors, fix the brand, and steer clear of the kinds of scandals that keep blowing up under Iger's leadership. Additionally, the FCC investigation is still underway, and the results might range from scandal to a full-scale corporate takeover. If there is proof that Iger is directly responsible for any regulatory infractions, that might lead to a legal storm that no one anticipated. The bottom line: Bob Iger may be nearing the end of his life, and his departure would quickly cause a tremor in Wall Street and Hollywood. What's truly crazy about all of this is that Bob Iger is still out there, doubling down on day despite the FCC breathing down his neck. He made yet another public declaration a few days ago, promoting the idea that he is not being investigated and that the company is not in danger of going into complete breakdown. That demonstrates his strong ties to State Street and BlackRock. Vanguard. Iger is aware that those three stockholders essentially control Disney's future. Disney may not be able to recover from the enormous hole in the company's foundation if they leave, and until they find new, powerful investors to take their place, it's lights out. Disney is currently holding onto what little influence it still has. The business is under strain, and Bob Iger is using fire to appease some people at the expense of destroying everything else. Anyway, that's the most recent development in this crazy roller coaster. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and forward this analysis to anybody who should know what's actually happening at Disney. I'll see you at the following one. You don't want to miss the next big thing.